Evening all. Call me Dave here. How you all doing? Been a little while, innit? Ah, funny old time lately. You don't know if it's winter or summer. Sun's burning me eyes out, but it's freezing me tits off. These, Christ. Oh, tonight I feel like a flat-chested woman. I ain't got much material to work with, but I'm gonna have a go. Someone moaned at me and they said, I hate people sitting around on their arse all day. What else can you sit on? That's why it's soft and padded. That's the reason. We all sit on our arse. I'm making the right hash up of this. What was this week? I went to the doctor's the other day with a suspicious looking mole. And the doctor said, they all look like that. Put it back in the fucking garden. Ah, Christ. I just heard off me mate. He said you can buy sex insurance. I said sex insurance? Yeah, people are actually doing this. He sent me a list of companies. It started off like this. Sex with your missus. Legal in general. For phone sex, you need direct line. Sex with your partner? Well, that's just standard life. Sex with someone different. Go compare. Sex with a lady with bigger proportions. Yeah. More than. Definitely more than. Christ. Sex on the back seat of a car? You want Sheeta's wheels for that bugger. Sex with a prostitute. Commercial union. Sex with your home cleaner, if you're posh enough to have one. Employer's liability insurance. Sex with animals. Sick motherfuckers. RSPCA. National Farmers Union. Sex with a monk, you know. Abbey life. And finally, sex with a transvestite. Confused.com. That's funny. Of course, there isn't, you know, sex insurance. It's just a joke. For humour purposes. In case someone takes it seriously. You get some funny buggers these days. There's a small village priest. And in the garden, he keeps some chickens. Last night, his cock went missing. So he went to church this morning. Bible. Prayer. Yeah. Oh. And he says, who has a cock? And all of the men stand up. He says, no. Who's seen a cock? And all the women stand up. Well, apart from the nuns. He says, no. Who's seen a cock that isn't theirs? And half the women stood up. He said, oh, for heaven's sake, who's seen my cock? And all the altar boys stood up. That's not just a joke, that's a true story. Cheers. Oh, I was reading a newspaper, and there was a story in there that said all the price increases and job losses, they should let you enjoy the pleasures of eating out without feeling shame. Well, I couldn't agree more. I think it's really good if you do it properly. You know what I mean? A lesson for everybody. Never argue with an idiot. Just walk away and smile. You never win an argument with an idiot. Dangle the answer in front of them and swing it. They'd just go, nah, that ain't true. Christmas is coming. That's all there is this evening. I just finished writing my letter to Satan. Santa. It was short and sweet. I said, dear Santa, I've been very naughty this year, and it was worth it, you fat judgmental bastard. Yeah, another lesson I recently learned. My friend just quit university. I said, why'd you quit? He said, I was paying for school to get a job. Just to get a job to pay for school. I was like, I know what you mean. He said, I would be 60 grand in debt. Fucking hell. And once again, after watching the TV, I state my case. The only people mad at you for speaking the truth is those living a lie. Like this newspaper article. Man with a stammer, jailed. Judge says he's unlikely to complete his sentence. You know what I mean? There's this young boy. He's at home with his dad. Evening time. His dad's had a food sherbet. Watching the old TV. And his son asks him, he says, Dad, what's the difference between a pussy and a cunt? He takes his son upstairs to the room where his mum is sleeping. He pulls back the cover and he points at a little black triangle, well, a big black triangle in this case. And he says, son, that's a pussy. And his son looks back. He goes, that's amazing, Dad. Can I touch it? He goes, no, don't touch that, son. If you touch it, you'll wake the cunt up. I thought that was humorous. A little bit of advice for all of you fellas out there. If you're having an argument with your partner, the best way to stop it, just start taking your clothes off in your pants and she'll instantly have a headache and fall asleep. End of argument. And at work just recently, everyone keeps going, hey, I'm only 3 years away from retirement. It's going to be brilliant. I keep thinking to myself, fucking hell, I'm going to have to work right up till the day I die. Probably the morning of the funeral, and I'm probably going to have to dig the fucking hole they throw me in as well, you know. We're never going to retire. My mate was in bed with a very smart, well-informed woman the other night. She said, come on, big boy, fuck me like the government does. I thought, she switched on. How do you know when a politician is lying? Their lips move. Right. There was these two geezers playing by a lake, and one of them, he pops over to the bush and looks over. And the other bloke couldn't realise what he was doing, so he walked over. And there was a woman bathing naked in this lake, you know. And they were stood there. Next minute, one of the boys just runs off as fast as he can. And the other boy's sort of scratching his head thinking, why doesn't he want to look at the naked woman in the lake? So he runs after him and he catches up with him about 400 yards away. He said, what do you run away for? You didn't get to see this every day. He said, my mum told me if I ever saw a naked lady, I'd turn to stone. I felt something getting a bit solid, so I got the hell out of there. He had a rock on. My friend said to me, if you were me, would you shag her over there? And I said, well, if I was you, I would. You know. Terrible. Never ask me a silly question to get a silly answer. I was thinking the other day, if sex with 3 people is called a threesome, and sex with 4 people is called a foursome, I guess that's clear now where everyone calls my mate handsome. Handsome. Sorry. That's funny. Why couldn't the lizard get a girlfriend? Because he had a reptile dysfunction. Back to another pastime which is a bit strange. Teaching. Cheers. A teacher's teaching a class. She sees that little Johnny, he isn't paying attention. So she asks him, she says, Johnny, if there's 3 ducks sitting on a fence and you shoot one, how many are left? Johnny says none. The teacher says, why? He said, because the gunshot scared them all off. She said, I like how you're thinking, but the answer's 2. Then Johnny asked the teacher, you see 3 women walking out of an ice cream parlour. One's licking her ice cream, one's sucking her ice cream, one's biting her ice cream. Which one's married? And the teacher said, the one sucking the ice cream. And he said, no, it's the one with the wedding ring on. But I like the way you think. This next one's not a joke, it's a true story. Happened to me. Either I've got big elbows or she's got big... Anyway. A man walks into a hotel lobby and he goes to the front desk and sees there's no queue. He starts running and he runs into this woman, accidentally bashed into her. And his elbow bumped into her breast. Pure accident. They're both quite shocked. And they gather themselves and the man says, Madam, if your heart is as soft as your breast was, I know you'll forgive me. And she replies, if your penis is as hard as that elbow was, I'm in fucking room 436. See you at 9. That's funny. I never did make it to that room. Ain't too good. There was an elderly man who wanted to make his young wife pregnant. And he went to the doctor to get his sperm count checked. And the doctor told him to take a specimen cup home, fill it and bring it back. The elderly man came back next day and the specimen cup was empty and the lid was on it. The doctor says, what was the problem? The elderly man said, well, I tried with my right hand, nothing. Tried with my left hand, nothing. So my wife tried with her right hand, nothing. Her left hand, nothing. Her mouth, nothing. Then my wife's friend tried. Right hand, left hand, mouth. Still nothing. And the doctor replied, hang on a minute. You say your wife's friend did too? The man said, yeah. And we still couldn't get the lid off the fucking specimen cup. You thought dirty things then. He's an old geezer. There's these 4 nuns. And they're all waiting at the gates of heaven. And God asked the first nun, have you ever sinned? She said, well, I've seen a penis. So God puts holy water in her eyes and he lets her pass. And then the second nun walks up. And she says, well, I've held a penis. So God puts holy water on her hands, cleans them, and he lets her pass. Just then the 4th nun jumps in front of the 3rd one and God says, how come you're pushing the queue? She said, well, I need to gargle that holy water before she sits in it. Nuns ain't so clean, are they? Hey? That's why they're called nuns. They don't get none. 2 men are talking. Picture the scene. Hey John, how's your sex life? Oh, nothing special. I'm having universal credit sex. What's universal credit sex? You know, you get a little each month, but not enough to live on. You know what I mean? That's funny. What I fucking thought so anyway. A woman comes home from her doctor's appointment and she's really happy. Her husband says, why are you so happy? And the wife says, the doctor told me for a 45-year-old woman I've got the breasts of an 18-year-old. He went, oh yeah? What did he say about your 45-year-old arse? She said, the doctor never even mentioned you, dear. Come back or what? I remember the first time I saw a naked woman. I thought, Christ, she must have some small curlers. You know what I mean? And I asked one of my mates, said, why are pubic hairs curly? He said, so they don't poke your bloody eyes out when you're down there in the old Jurassic Park area. And what do you call it the Jurassic Park area for? He said, because it hides a big monster that will swallow you up. Bloody hell. There's an old man. He's at his bedside and he's praying. And his missus walks in. She says, what are you doing? He says, I'm praying for guidance. I said, guidance? Just pray for stiffness. I'll guide the fucking thing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of old fruity geezers around, let me tell you that. Gin o'clock. I went to a fancy dress party recently, dressed as a chicken. And when I was there, I met a girl dressed as an egg. One thing led to another, you know. And at the end of that, a lifelong question was answered. As I went down on her for 20 minutes and rogered the hell out of the woman. And the egg definitely came first. I'll tell you that much. That was a hell of a party. I kept saying to my friend the other day, you know, we're all going to leave this world at some point. There'll be no regrets, so enjoy it. And I said, I hope death as a woman. He said, why? I said, well, she's never going to come for me, is she? Simple. Lovely jubbly. I think the world has gone sex mad. There are TV shows where you meet people naked attraction, and people sending their parents on dates. Now they've got a show called Wanted Down Under. Ladies, we all want you down under, and most ladies want a man down under. Sexualising TV, bloody hell, who'd have known? I was watching the TV the other day. There's a new LG smart fridge. Knock twice and it shows you what's inside. I thought, the lazy bastards, open the fucking door. You got to touch it. The fuck. Has it really got that bad? We're too lazy to open the fridge door. hundreds of pounds because you're too lazy to open the door. And as if you don't know what's in your fridge. This is not neighbours. The people off the street don't walk in and take your beer. I'll wear a mask. I don't look any better without it. I hardly slept last night. I woke up this morning and I looked so rough I thought even the fucking tide wouldn't take me out. Anyway, I think I'll get some kit tonight. I was at work the other day. Everyone was swearing at each other. Work or not. Mental hospital, by the way. Everyone was swearing at each other and I went, will everyone stop fucking swearing? And they did. Simplest of things. My uncle came round last week and he saw I had a motorbike. He said, let me have a sit on it. I helped him get up on there. He's a bit older than me. And I heard the pan in the kitchen boiling. I thought, I better go and check the dinner. So I went back and turned the cooker down. And my uncle was waving, come here. I said to the missus, can you go and help Uncle Jack off? She said, fuck off, get Auntie to do it tonight. Help Uncle Jack off. Sorry. My friend Lee was a really good fisherman. In fact, he was a masturbator. It's true. One of my friends, he said, on his phone, he said, Siri, why am I still single? Siri turned on the fucking camera. You could see why. Ugly bastard. I was reading a newspaper. I've started reading newspapers lately. I don't normally read newspapers. Full of shite, but I started reading again. Apparently, in New York, every minute, somebody gets stabbed. The poor bastard. I'll never get my granddad's last words before he died. Keep hold of that fucking ladder, boy. I weren't even holding the fucking ladder. Years ago, I made this joke up. And that's very relevant. My daughter was speaking to her mum. And she said, I really want to help people in need in the world, mummy. She said, I want Father Christmas to send some clothes to all of the naked girls on Daddy's laptop. Now that's a conversation and a half. A man walks in to see a psychiatrist. And he's got nothing on but cling film wrapped around his body. And the psychiatrist takes one look at him. He looks him up now and he goes, well, I can clearly see your nuts. And the rest of you, because you're covered in cling film. I wouldn't say stick around, but I looked up some German words that sounded familiar. What's the German word for bra? Boulder holder, you know. Stop them from flopping. What's the German word for a virgin? Gutentheit. I was reading in the newspaper the other day that they're trying to legalise cannabis. And they were trying to legalise it at the same time as same-sex marriage. So I read the Bible and there was a little bit in there and that caught my eye. So by making cannabis and same-sex marriage legal, we can finally make sense of what the Bible is saying. It says a man who lays in bed with another man should be stoned. Yeah, I agree. My ex-missus, she asked me, she said, was I the only one she'd been with? I said, yeah, all the other women I've been with are 8s and 9s out of 10. Know what I mean? What do dentists call their x-rays? Toothpicks. Old ones are the best, apparently. So there's hope for me. You know. 2 wind turbines standing on a wind farm. One asked the other one, what's your favourite kind of music? The other one said, well, actually I'm a big metal fan. Hey, a big metal fan. I talk a lot of rubbish on here, but I enjoy it. I hope you do. Otherwise I'm shit out. My teacher always told me I'd never amount to much as I procrastinate. All the time. I said, just you wait and fucking see. Question. What gets longer when pulled, inserts in a hole, and works best when it's jerked? No? A seatbelt. I notice a lot of things. I pay a lot of attention. Not to myself, but to everything else in the world. And everything you eat these days is bad for you. Well, not everything. I do like eating out. They tell us we can't do anything. Smoking will kill you. Eating bacon will kill you. So why does smoking bacon cure it? I went into Aldi and I picked up a packet of ham. I took it to the manager. I said, I want to complain. He said, what's wrong with it? I said, it's cooked, cured ham. He said, yeah, what's wrong with it? I said, it's dead. It's not cured, is it? If it was, the pig would be running around the fucking shop. You know what I mean? The other day my friend said, it's not peer pressure. It's just your turn. Fair play? Fair play. The other day I bumped into this lady who was really short. In fact, she was a kind of midget. That's a Queen song. Hang on. She was a very short lady. She was so short, even when she smoked weed, she still didn't get high. I don't know. Little things, eh? Well, the other day, I asked my partner what she would like for Christmas. She said nothing would make her happier than a diamond necklace. So I'm buying her nothing. Nothing will make her happier. She's getting nothing. I was reading the manual for the car, talking about seats and danger in the back. But children in back seats of cars can cause accidents. But accidents in the back seats of cars can cause children. Yeah, so it evens itself out. 50-50 deal. People can complain about everything and moan about everything for no reason and hate each other because they're different. Different is good. I said to him, life is sexually transmitted. That's good, isn't it? You know what he said? Anal intercourse is for arseholes. I'm sure that was directed at me. Definitely. Talking about religion. A Christian friend of mine, he was preaching to me a little while ago. And I like the bloke, so I just let him get on with it. He said, sex between two men is wrong in their eyes. I said, you're right, you know. It's supposed to be up the arse, isn't it? Between. You'll work it out later. I got in the car earlier and I turned the key and it said, to start the car, first you press the clutch. So I started shouting at it. I said, you're a crap clutch. You never work properly. You're a fucking ugly clutch. The car still didn't start. I had to push the pedal with my foot. Depress the clutch. Jesus Christ. And finally, we live in a strange world run by a bunch of rich people. So, at first there were empires run by emperors. Then there was kingdoms run by kings. And now we have countries run by cunts. Thank you very much. See you soon. Have a good evening.